For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, hello again as we move through the month of January in the cold, cold weather. We've got a couple guys that are going to warm the hearts of the city. The city superintendent, Mr. Quentin Bishop. Welcome back to the Focus Set.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate your time.
You've got a very busy job, and you've got lots of people that look up to you to find out what's going on. City Council you work with every 2 weeks at least, a minimum.
Yeah.
And you got police departments and water departments and rec departments and all sorts of things. Bring us up to date. What's going on in the city that we should know about?
Well, there's a lot going on in the city, as you know. So we have a new trash container system that's coming out throughout the entire city. And so the update on that is that we're going to continue to encourage people to call Waste Management and get them to reduce the 96 to 64 gallon
Those are the
carts.
big ones.
Yeah, those are the bigger ones. And you know, truth be told, sometimes it's just too big for the family size. They just don't need 96 gallons. And they absolutely 100% can call Waste Management. And it's no charge to have them reduced from 96 to 64. So that should help a little bit.
Okay.
So that's a work in progress, and we're staying on top of Waste Management, although there's some things at their corporate office that they need to sort out on their communication, but we actually had them in the office. This week we sat down and we said, hey, brass tacks, this has to get corrected. Our residents deserve to have a consistent message, and that what they can count on in their calendars when you guys are going to deliver. So that's been very important, and we're holding them accountable to the best of our ability. So that's a big one. We just had a great conversation last, what would it have been, the 6th of January, so Monday, last Monday. And you know, we had a workshop on roads. Roads is going to be an important topic, not only in the upcoming season that we have, but in beyond, because many residents know they pay for a road millage.
Okay, they do.
They do. And so it expires in 2026. And so as I've been on the job now, this is the beginning of my third year. Completed 2, beginning of my third year. That happened last week. And so there's been a focus on let's get the roads taken care of. And it's been quite the progress, quite honestly.
When was the original millage passed?
It's a 10-year. It's a 10-year millage. Years. Yeah. So since 2016, the residents have agreed to put some money aside to take care of the roads. And boy, I can say, when really I started paying attention to the mapping and the PASER mapping, and PASER just simply is a pavement assessment scale that allows to see like where you were to where you're going, what roads need the most help, what are in good condition. That's what the PASER is. And so we started taking a look at it, and so I have 2020 is kind of in my mindset, because that's when really some investments were occurring on a more regular basis. But we have some room to go. And so I really need to outline, and I really need to put out, the road plan every year early. And really for 2 reasons, Paul. If you get a road plan that's decided upon and you can get it approved early, that means you're the first in line for the contractors.
Okay, I like that idea. I like that.
So you don't get caught up, and we have a lot. We are a event-heavy summer community.
Correct.
So you don't want a lot of roads being tore up in the middle of June, July, and August.
Right.
And so last year we got the majority of the roads done early, and we're planning on doing the same thing. It's better contract pricing, and you get on their schedule earlier. So that's the idea.
You mentioned 2020. You brought along a map of 2020 and the roads. So let's take a peek at that.
Yeah.
If the boy is in there, it is. Either way, we can look at it both ways.
Sure.
A lot of red there. What's the red?
Oh, see, the red's bad. Red's bad. So as you look through you look through the 3rd wards, okay, and the 3 wards are identifying a lot of failed roads. Reds means failed. I mean, to the point where Department of Transportation would come in and based on criteria would say, hey, these need immediate attention. And you can see 3rd ward. Now the map, the way I look at it, there's the St. Clair River to the east. That's on the north side of the screen, but that's the east, right? It's kind of as if you were sitting, at the plaza looking at the river. This is the map of the town. And so you can see the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd ward just charted with red. I mean, there's red lines everywhere. And so in 2020, they started to make some investments. In 2021, we started to chip away at it. 2022, road plan was engaged, and they knocked off, really started focusing in on Ward 1, that northern section, I think really north of Vine.
Let's go to 2022, right?
Yeah, we can move over to 2022. And
that's 2021.
Yep,
Okay,
there we go. So now you can see, to the north of the city.
Yeah.
That used to be red, but now that's green.
Right.
That means that it had been redone. And
Okay.
so those are the neighborhoods to the north. Now, here's the thing. We started looking in 2022 and saying, okay, how are we going to attack these interior roads, specifically in our downtown area, the most walkable streets, the high commuter traffic. Where are we going to get some bang for our buck? But look at there, you can see, even at Kearney Drive, right? Kearney Drive hadn't been completed yet, and that was considered a poor road, right? And you can see over here the Delanos, still in red, Victoria Court red. So there's so even off the main drag, there's still some failed roads that we need to address. So if we move now if we go right to 2024, in 2024 is going to show us, now look at the difference now.
Yeah.
Look how much green there is. Look how, you're right, and look how much blue there is. So this next,
what's the blue?
The blue is good.
Oh, good.
The blue is good. It's saying you may see some signs of oxidation. So when that new asphalt comes down,
right.
It's black as night. It's super, super smooth. Everybody loves that. Well, within a year or two, it oxidizes, and that's when you start seeing the graying, right? And so that would be the blue.
Now you just got a center core there, so to speak.
We've been knocking this thing out, and Paul, this is no lie. The city right now has just nearly 28 miles of local and major streets. Okay, so think 30 miles. We got 30 miles of collective road that we need to handle. So in 2020, the average rating of the road system was 3.5. Well, 3.5 if you saw the legend there, 3.5 is a poor road. So MDOT would come along and say, okay, your entire road system would be considered poor, needing some maintenance before it becomes failure. However, now, after, serious investments in 22, we even have the industrial park on Christian B. Haas Drive, right? Look at that. That went. The guys did a nice job in the studio. They went from red. Now you can see the green over there in Christian B. Haas, right? So now you're actually seeing the average scale of over 6.5, closer to 7. And so now when you're in 7, you're in good. So now MDOT looks and says, hey, after the 22 road season, the 23 road season, now the 24 road season, just in those 3 years, and the work that they've done, we have literally doubled. The quality of the road. So now we'd be considered, good. But we got dirt roads that we got to get taken care of. In the interior, the downtown interior, North 6th Street, got to take care of that. Some of that red that you see kind of to the south, that being Ward 3, it's not an updated map, but that red line right down to the end there, that's Gulf Street and Lara. Right there, and that's already done. So that's a new green one too. So we have, as you can see, kind of in the center, that Ward 2 centralized downtown area. That's where we're going to be hitting our focus. North 6th Street's got to get taken care of, because you can see that red line that just kind of right through that green and yellow area. That red line is just, it bugs me. So we're going to take care of that too. So
do you have the plans, or you're had a workshop? Have you firmed up what you're going to do for spring?
Yeah, we've zeroed in on what we're going to be doing for the spring, and so the goal is we get the bids built. We get all the specifications built. We make sure that we have inspectors ready to go, the admin of the actual work for the construction administration of it, testing of the asphalt and all that, and then we put the bid out, and the bids are going to come back probably, I would say, sometime in February, and then you get on the schedule, and then we're ripping as soon as we open up in April.
So your millage is good through 2026.
Correct.
So you've got millage now to pay for 2025.
Correct.
And 2026?
No. 2026 is when it would expire. So we wouldn't receive the 2026 funds until those tax rolls, which is later on. It's September.
September 26.
Yeah, so
you can't use that money.
Anyway, that construction season is going to be spent up already, because I want to get that. I want to get it done in April. So the big point is, that's a critical decision by the city. We're going to get as many miles as we can between now and 2026. But I want to get those dirt roads taken care of. I just think that the city of St. Clair is becoming more and more of a destination, and that's all well and good for the people out of town to come and spend their time and energy. But the residents,
Right.
the people who live there year round,
Yeah.
that's who I care about more
Yeah.
than anybody else,
Yeah.
and they deserve good roads. And so it goes hand in hand, that 2026 millage vote, and then our ability to get all the dirt roads taken care of.
So at that time in 2026, you'll go back to the public.
Yes.
And you'll say, do you want to do some more of this or you want to do less of this?
Yep.
It'll be their choice.
Yep.
But the recommendation, now that you got the roads up to a better level, you'd probably want to try and maintain that somehow.
Yeah, we have to maintain it. So that's like
But
crack
not
sealing.
at the cost maybe that you did in
No.
improvement.
I would say when we go back to the voters in 2026, we're going to be looking something at a reduced rate of some sort, because we'll have a better idea of what's left and then the cost of preventative maintenance. But I would say to the voters too, I mean, some people, I kind of read between the lines a little bit with what you're saying, like, hey, you got a lot of roads done now.
Yeah.
So somebody might be out there and going, I got a nice road. I have a nice road. I don't need.
Why should I vote for it?
And I would just challenge that way of thinking and saying, the same people who voted before and yes, you received your road before they did.
Yeah.
And there's still some people who voted
Yeah.
and who have been paying taxes, and their road is yet to be done. And I truly, truly want to provide that service, a good, decent, aesthetically pleasing, safe road for every resident in St. Clair.
Well, what's the function of a city? The function of a city is to provide roads and fire and
Public health and
police,
welfare.
Public health and welfare. So
Yeah.
that's all part of it. So you guys have succeeded in the last 5 or 6 years to improve this, and now we should.
We have some more to go, Paul.
maintain,
Yeah,
yeah.
we do. And truth be told, we have some more to go. I'm not quite satisfied. I love the transition of what is considered failed and poor roads into what we see here with a lot of green and blue on the screen. I love that, but I just can't help but look at those red lines and know that there's residents out there going, come on.
You haven't come to my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along. There's some construction out in the industrial park
Yeah.
for a water tower. Where are we at on that? And
Oh.
what's it for?
Yeah, it's actually full blown construction season now over there. Winter slows down. It slows down. We're not throwing up iron right now because they're going to construct it and they're going to erect it in pieces. But what's going to happen is as soon as the ground's ready to go, they're going to start seeing steel being brought in and foundations laid. And there's going to be an 80-foot water tower that's going up close. If you were on Yankee Road and you were kind of in front of the middle school and you look north, right, you would see the railroad station right there, their hut right there. You'd see Magna to the north right there, and the cemetery that's right there. So just beyond that, it's still on Magna property, which the city has an easement for. We'll build a water tower, and then what that's going to do, it's going to bring 500,000 additional gallons to our water system. So we're not running out of water, even with the growth, even with the industrial growth, the residential growth, small business growth, people, new houses, apartments going up. We're going to be fine as far as capacity goes.
Beautiful.
In addition to that, our water treatment plant is still actively going under expansion. We're adding 1 million gallons of capacity to that. So
Wow.
we're really building for the future. And I mean, it's not the most glamorous type work, right? Because people are thinking like, oh, it's roads, it's water lines, it's water towers, it's things they don't see every day. But it's critically important that we get the infrastructure for the residents right. Because those are public services that they use every day. So we're going to get that right.
Wastewater treatment plant, anything happen there?
Yeah, actually, so in March of 2023, the city received an evaluation, and it said, hey, listen, you have some areas of concern that says, hey, so it's like maintenance type issues. It's like replacements of pumps. It's replacement of facilities. The facility
Not very
is fine.
glamorous.
It's not glamorous. It's kind of a crappy job.
Ah.
But with that though, but if you talk to Ron or Tom down there, they are the most professional wastewater treatment guys you'd ever meet. They are rock solid individuals, and I don't want anybody else other than those types of guys down there doing that type of work because they get it, right? But they've also noticed that, like, hey, it's a pump. It doesn't last forever. You know what I mean? A trickling filter doesn't last forever. So my mindset goes to now, okay, here's the problem. Here's the potential price tag for it. How do we start planning to pay for these things now and getting those things ready to go so there's not a surprise and emergency and all of a sudden the cost goes up 3-4 fold. so we can actually plan this out. So that's the next thing on my radar, is to make sure all of our infrastructure is tip-top shape.
Well, we're glad you're here watching it. It's a busy job, and you're doing a fine job of it.
Oh, I appreciate it, Paul.
I think the citizens driving on those new roads will appreciate it very much.
I appreciate that.
Did we miss anything?
No, I mean, I could talk about, the importance of updates. I really could, and what we're trying to accomplish. But, if there's one last thing I would say, I just want to, I want to tip my hat, really, to every single employee that works for the city.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's important to recognize their efforts, because we're having this conversation, and people might recognize, like, oh, that's the city manager, and but it doesn't none of this happens unless you have a good team.
Right.
Okay. And so the guys at the DPW,
yeah.
Water treatment plant, wastewater, our police officers,
yeah.
right, our internal staff, right, our museum, the bridge workers,
yeah.
right. I know I'm forgetting a few people, but in general, this whole city, it operates on the backs of really fine people who care. Mm-hmm. And their professionalism, I do tip my hat to them, because they come every single day to work, thinking about, like, how do I make this the best place for nearly 6,000 people?
Yeah.
And they sincerely mean that, and I appreciate that about what they do.
Have you back. Always got a lot of good information for us, so appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, Paul.
Coming up next is a special guest, friend of Quentin's. His name is PD, and he's part of the police department. He's going to come sit and talk to us about all sorts of wonderful things. Stay tuned. Well, that was a good interview with the superintendent of the city, and now we've got a special guest from the police department, and this is a guest that just moved. Oh, wow. Look at that. We got PD here, the famous PD from the St. Clair Police Department. This was originally a vehicle provided by Cargill donation back in 2000, and it's recently, PD was sent in for a cleanup, fix up, and paint up. And PD, how are you doing?
Doing fine.
You're doing fine? Let me see your eyes blink. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. PD, tell me why you are working for the police department. What do you do?
I'm the safety ambassador for the police department with the children.
Okay. And do you go to the schools?
I go to the schools, I go to parades, I go to churches.
Wow. And your headlights work and everything? Let's see here. Maybe, maybe not. There they go, there they go. The headlights are working, and you got a siren. And the light, whoa! Wow. So this unit is almost 20-some years old, but was sent back, and where did it go?
They sent me to Tri-City Auto on Gratiot and Rattle Run, and they gave me a makeover.
Well, it's got to look like a new paint job, new eyebrows. Everything looks beautiful. So it's going to start going to schools, right? Or
yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I hope to go to the schools in March for reading month and read them books.
Oh, read them books. How are you going to read them a book?
They put a thing in me so I can read books. It's kind of fun.
Wow. And I've seen PD in parades over the years, but I haven't seen him in the last few years, so he should be back into parades. He'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. I couldn't be in the Santa parade because it was raining.
And it was cold. It was cold.
The chief didn't buy me a raincoat.
Do you have any words of wisdom for boys and girls about police safety?
Well, I always tell them they need to know their phone number and their mommy and daddy's name and where they live.
Wow, that's good. That's important information. Say that one more time. You want your phone number?
Their phone number, their address, their mommy and daddy's name.
Mommy and daddy's name. Good stuff. Just those three things are important. Well, PD, we thank you very much for stopping by today. I know you're a busy busy police. What are you? What is your proper title?
I am a police car.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we've had a great show today and had Petey stop by. So we thank Petey and we thank the superintendent of the city of St. Clair bringing us up to date on roads. That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon. Come on in here. Yeah, that's on a, yeah, let's pull that out. Yeah.